I'm attempting to complete all 5 maps and all 4 legacies in State of Decay 2 on lethal difficulty with one single character. This behemoth is Wick. So far, Wick has made Mega Valley his bitch, he became a super spreader in Providence, and killed so many people in Drucker, people are starting to suspect he's related to Genghis Khan. If you missed the previous episodes, I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description, but today we're on to our penultimate map, Cascade Hills, where our main man Wick is not only here to take out the Blood Plague, but he's also searching for the Lizard Gang cult who have been found in connection with the disappearance of his brother. Starting at the starter base, we build a level 2 infirmary, a red talon workshop, and once this shite has been removed, a shooting range for the extra 20 stamina. We then climb a tall ladder to scout about, and set off to claim some outposts so we can start earning daily resources. Firstly, I decide to focus on a medical centre, as meds is probably what I go through the most. See how many times we got Blood Plague in Providence Ridge, for example. But seeing as we're now up to day 10 or 11, our standing is extremely high, so hordes can quite quickly escalate into big ol' fights. Luckily, I came prepared. With the last few stragglers taken care of, I claim the medical centre, and once my labour allows me, I'll be upgrading it to level 2. Next up, a stranger is asking for my assistance, and seeing as I'm new to town, I need to get to know people in order to find those lizard cult people. I meet this lad Corey, who's looking for medical supplies, which has absolutely nothing to do with me dropping a molly on his ass, and a bloke to pop in immediately after. Although he may have hit his head in that encounter, as he wants to find medicine at the gun store. I'm like, sure thing pal, I'll help you out, but first we've got to take down a placard. Don't look at me like I'm the bad guy, we live in a capitalist society, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, nothing comes for free. Unless you bring a baseball bat to the red light district, of course, but that's something completely different. The placard is located at the local pub, and using Corey as a distraction, we complete the first phase, then I cock up the molly throw and, well, yeah, slightly burnt. Although a slightly singed eyebrow is nothing compared to Corey. What are you gonna die for? That's a bit daft, isn't it? Although, to be fair to the bloke, he is currently fighting off a crackhead with a spork. You might have noticed at this point I've swapped out the SMG for a 50 round 22. And so far, I'm loving the switch. Talk about a drama queen. I can then kill the heart and collect some very good loot. Now I can finally go get Corey his meds. Wait, hang on. I think I just stepped on Corey's face. Oh, what the fuck? Sadly, yes, I did stamp on Corey's face. To be fair, he did say he needed meds. Please can we get one massive RIP for Corey in the comment section. In Corey's honour, I intend on turning the gun store he wanted to loot for meds into an outpost, but first it's claimed by a couple of placards. So I make my way to another tall structure to do some climbing, but before doing so I find 2 frags and 2 smoke bombs in the military truck at the bottom. So once I've scouted the area, it's time to put those smoke bombs to work. The heart is located in a bathroom, and with smoke active I can complete the first phase no problem. I then dodge out and toss a molly in, and I think I heard a second phase sound, which I'm able to confirm after leading the hordes outside, and 2 more swings gets the kill. Next up is a heart in seconds auto shop, right opposite the gun store I'll be claiming in Corey's honour. I decide against the smoke on this occasion and complete the first phase after plenty of dodging, then tossing another molly. Here we go. Jesus. No! Jesus, come on! Well, that certainly could have gone better, but then again, it could have gone a lot worse. Has anyone ever had this much bad luck with bloaters in a playthrough? Thankfully, everything burnt up from that bloater explosion, so I can complete the second phase with nothing to contest me. Oh, Jesus! Oh my god. As I escape, I toss another molly, then as the crackhead tackles me, the placard goes down. But thankfully, I'm able to get my revenge before my infection becomes permanent. Well, semi-permanent, I'm always carrying multiple plague cures. I claim the gun store as an outpost, and once it's upgraded to level 2, I make my way to loot the placard and the auto shop. Once everything has been scavenged, I chat to some nearby enclave that are starving, and I'm like, look, if I happen to find some food chilling in a decaying placard husk, I'll sort you out, but I want to know where and what the lizard cult is. Thankfully, there happens to be a placard in the neighbouring house, so leaving my car behind, I head to investigate. Something those lazy pricks obviously never did. I'm able to take it out as well as several crackheads with no issues, providing you count getting infected by the second as a non-issue. But unfortunately, I don't get any food for my troubles, just some life-saving medicine. So for my next step, I decide to investigate the most northeasterly section of the map, as there's usually a placard or 2, or failing that, a barn with a food resource in. But on my way past, some more people need my help. Even if it is a massive red flag to claim you are certified humans. They've been attacked by a triple pack, and luckily I'm ready and waiting with the strongest apocalyptic weapon. I have a really strong arse. Although all that sound has attracted a nearby juggernaut, and seeing as I'm now armed with a 22, I'm not exactly prepared to fight it. So instead I repeatedly reverse into it like an aggressive bottom. It takes a hell of a lot longer than I'm used to, and certainly wasn't worth the damage on my car. But at least I can purchase a toolkit and a first aid kit from the guys I saved. Then it's back to our journey northbound. And Christ, I always forget how far away this place is. Luckily I can get to our destination without wasting too much fuel, and this happens to be another heart with only one entrance, so I can block the door with my car and get an easy victory. Although sadly I don't get any food, just dinosaur gunk to keep the car moving or to burn the undead. But we're not finished with our trip up north just yet, as there's another plague heart in the house around the corner. Another heart that's located in a tight and narrow bathroom, which is both a gift and a curse. You see, with the correct timing I can hit the heart and keep the undead off me relatively easily, but it being a tight fit I always struggle to escape the gas cloud, with the exception of this time, funnily enough. As usual I drop a molly behind me, then go for a little run. By the time I get back in there's next to no opposition, and as usual the second phase comes much quicker, and after repeating the same tactic the plague heart goes down with no issues. However, we're still in plague territory, which tells me there's gotta be a heart in the barn down the way, and I decide to head there on foot to investigate. Although on the way I do come across a wandering horde, but because I'm a tactical specialist I lead the Zeds back through the 3 bloaters and blow them sky high with a single molly. Like I said, tactical genius. I then proceed to almost immediately get infected fighting the plague heart. Oh no, you bastard! So maybe a tactical liability would have been a better description, especially as I then repeat the mistake and refill my infection meter to well over halfway. Thankfully I still got molly, so it's time to set everything on fire, which actually completes the first phase, and from there we can quite simply take out the plague heart. I then dash back to the house from earlier and claim it as a temporary outpost so I can complete some looting. In the plague heart I find a food rucksack as well as an ammo sack in the house. Then I check out the hunting shack out back, but to be honest it was a bit of a disappointment. I then head back to the heart in the barn and get another food sack as well as a medikit. So then I can make my way back to the aimless wanderers to give Tony his rucksack of food. Although when I give it to them they just decide to bugger off. They give me no information or nothing. I suppose it's my own fault for trusted knobheads whose only survival gear is flavoured condoms. Oh well, onwards and upwards, time to head to Lowell. And you'll never guess what, I start by climbing the water tower. To be honest, I probably should have grown out of the any excuse to get high phase, but hey, it is what it is. I find 3 hearts from the crow's nest and decide to take on the one in the north of town first. It's located in another bathroom, and unfortunately on this occasion my timing is a little off. Oh, fuck off. So for the first time in my life I beat off a stranger in the bathroom, then set everything on fire. But after that we take down the plague heart with no more issues. Unless you count me getting bit while I'm looting it, of course. That could be a pretty big issue. But for now there's nothing more to do than to crack on. I don't want to be wasting too much fuel in driving back and forth base to remove my infection, especially as the base is right on the edge of the map. The next heart is in an unfinished house and I phase it while surrounded, then burn everything down, while narrowly avoiding another bite. I killed the obligatory feral with gunslinger before completing the second phase, then leading the hordes into a nearby house. And even though they do catch up to me, they cause no issues as I take down the heart. I get extra ammo for my rifle, a first aid kit, and a sack of meds as a reward. In fact, I've gotten so many meds from these plague hearts, by the time this whole series is finished, I'm gonna have enough plague cure to sort out America. I guess that means Undead Labs is just gonna have to cancel State of Decay 3. Sorry, that's my bad, boys. Our next stop is Sud City Laundry, and we can take it down with no issues whatsoever. Like, genuinely, this time there was no issues. I then decide to head northwest, as that's where the Bullet Benefactor is currently active. But first I decide to turn this petrol station into an outpost, but making the area secure turned out to be so much harder than I was expecting. I thought I could do a quick bum rush and claim before the hordes got to me, but that certainly wasn't the case. In fact, I had to leg it back down to the main road, put 10 rounds into the faces of the undead, then loop around the divider to make sure they're all far enough away. Then finally I can claim it and set landmines, as well as upgrading it to level 2, which allows me to unload all of my stuff as well as repair my weapons. So by the time we're back on the road we're in excellent condition, providing you ignore my infection meter of course. I find the next heart while I'm just driving past, and it's also right next to the supply drop from the Bullet Benefactor. Unfortunately however, so is a Juggernaut. So I make sure to park up a Juggernaut safe distance away, then head inside where the fat prick can't get to me. Another heart in the bathroom, and again timing correctly I keep the dickheads from me while also completing the first phase. However, when I try to set it on fire I once again get bit. Christ's sake, I've been bitten more times than that girl from school with a Twilight fascination. With another cure floating through my immune system I collect the supply drop, then I can head back inside and pretty quickly end the plague heart. But being the greedy bastard I am, I still want to loot it, and I've never tried those flashbangs before. Oh wow! Oh my god! That was amazing! Although they're all getting back up. Why are they getting back up? It's a flashbang, bro, not a bloody grenade. So I decide to go for another run. However, nothing seems to chase me. And when I head back in, everyone seems to have been missing their legs. But whatever, I collect the loot and get the hell out. And you'll never guess my next destination, another tall tower. Although I only spot 2 hearts from the cell tower, and wanting a second medical outpost, I make my way south to fight this plague heart. Because the medical center is only claimed by 1 heart, surely it's going to be this one, right? The heart right next door to it? Well, let's find out together, shall we? But first, let's take down a triple pack of screamers with a trick shot. 2 in 1, baby! 2 in 1. That is exactly who you're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now back to the play card. It's in another tavern and is awkward as shit, but still I can take it down with no issues. And you might be able to pick up one thing from the minimap, we're still in bloody plague territory. So someone's been lying to me, and I'll be honest with you boys, I'm not happy about it. So I go for a little jog to try and find the bastard, and it's in this house, which is definitely in range of the cell tower I climbed earlier. Great. But this one goes down nice and easily, using smoke for cover on the first 2 phases. Then a single frag as I roll away to safety. Good night, play card. With that, I head back to the medical center, which actually turns out to be a veterinary clinic, and it joins my roster of outposts. And with that, it's back north to fight the heart up that way. The heart is in the kitchen, and I complete the first phase before anything can get to me, and as I dodge out, I drop a frag grenade. I then once again get infected by a crackhead as I climb over a fence, so I drop a load or 2 into its face, then jab myself with a cure. Another bloody cure. And that earlier frag grenade must have caused a double phase, as I'm then able to take down the heart with a few more swings. But there's definitely one more plague heart in the area, so I head off on the search. I find another infected house with a heart in the kitchen, and weirdly I'd still rather eat here than anything Jamie Oliver has ever produced. I complete the first phase, then drop a fuel bomb I collected from the previous heart, which does a fantastic job of burning up everything inside. So when I head back inside, I phase it with 1 hit it a second time, then drop a frag, which kills off the plague heart. And as you could probably predict, I have 0 patience. Oh god, wait, it's still... What? The plague heart's dead? And I'm still getting gas inhalation? What the fuck is that about? But don't worry, with a bit more patience I collect the loot, then drop all the shit off at the veterinary clinic. But at this point, Wick still hasn't learned anything about those lizard people. In fact, he hasn't met anyone for quite some time. Where the hell has everyone gone? So it's time to go on a rampage in the hope that by clearing the blood plague, people will come out of the woodwork and be prepared to help Wick find the lizard gang cult and finally find his lost brother. He takes down the heart in this warehouse, then continues his journey south. I briefly go back to stealthing to eliminate the Zeds in the building before phasing with the shovel and dropping another frag, but then I decide to hide in one of the bedrooms. All the local Zeds rush to the heart's defense, then I jump out and drop a fuel bomb on their asses. Not only does this clear the undead population, but it also caused a phase, so a few more heavy swings and goodnight play card. Up next is the Army and Navy store to the south, and this one being in a cupboard is always good fun, but I still do what I do best and get the phase and drop a frag. Once the gases are fucked off, I roll back in, hit it once and drop a molly. And that is phase 2 complete. Then once I've led the hordes outside, I head back inside and get the final hits, killing the play cart. There's another play cart in the gun store adjacent to it. I'm making sure to ignore that horde. I complete the first phase before anything can catch me, then drop my last fuel bomb. And ignoring my double singed eyebrow, that did a fantastic job of clearing the hordes, with the exception of the armored Zeds of course. I then take out the feral that was thankfully frozen, before turning my attention to a screamer that's coming into shot. Yep. Oh, you son of a bitch. But hey, what's the point in crafting plague cures if you're not going to take them? Although admittedly, I've had packs of Skittles that last longer. Anyway, I head back to the gun store, and by entering through the back door and closing it behind me, it slows everything down just enough for me to finish off the play cart. Then after a quick trip back to the veterinary clinic to drop off my loot, I set my sights eastbound to clear the centre of the map, where I find another heart in another house. By using the earlier mentioned bathroom strat, this goes down with no problems. Obviously ignoring the small bit of gas damage I did to myself. I find the next play cart in Rick Grimes' son, I phase it and drop a pipe bomb, then remember I'm carrying the G18 as my sidearm, and unload into it until the second phase comes along. But now I've got to deal with a feral, something I haven't had to deal with as often as on the previous maps. But with him down, there's nothing stopping me from finishing off the play cart. Okay, except him for some reason. Camouflage little prick. And with this being the closest I've been to base for some time, now is probably a good time to head back and sort out this partial infection. Gotta love this infirmary, one of the only reasons I've survived this long. With that, there seems to be one more heart in the centre of the map, so I set that as my next destination and head over there. The heart is located in a tartan mart, and I take the back exit for no reason whatsoever. I phase it, then burn it, but then get drawn into a shootout with a feral. And even though he got a decent hit in, I haven't gone this far to be taken out by a single crackhead. I can then complete the second phase, take down 2 more ferals, before finishing off the job. I find the next heart in a house nearby and take it down without too many issues. Then while I'm looting it, a stranger drops by asking for my assistance. He got separated from his group and is asking for a lift to reconnect, and I agree, then sell him a load of shite I did one from the play cart. Then on the way I ask him if he's ever heard of the Lizard Gang cult, and he says yes. Finally, someone who's had dealings with these people. He agrees to tell me everything he knows about him as soon as we get him back to his people. However, when I get him back home, his friends are no more and the building is now an infestation. Now tasked with clearing the undead, I drop a molly into a bloater cloud to get the job done quickly. And even though I was successful, the lad gets destroyed by a feral, so we don't get any information information at all. For Christ's sake, the only lead we've had this entire time dies almost immediately. We have to be cursed. I suppose the only good takeaway from this situation is I'm back in plague territory, so I can carry on with our other goal of ending the blood plague. The nearest heart is in this warehouse, in what I'm imagining is the manager's back office. Well, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say this isn't the first time a stranger has been beating meat back here in the hopes of furthering their goals. But let's hope it's the first time someone has caught something nasty. I heal up and head back in, although I get bit almost immediately, and my infection meter goes well over halfway, so I ignite the entire room with a fuel bomb, which also completes the second phase, which means I can then come back in and finish it off once and for all. I then decide to head back to the utility shed from earlier, as there's a high chance there's a toolkit in there and I'll need to fix up the car pretty soon. Crackheads, however, have other plans. And that's me infected once again. Obviously, I'm still carrying plenty of cures, but being infected so quickly after the last time is kinda concerning. I need to start being more careful. I find the toolkit, then seeing as the hordes have dispersed, I can loot the play cart, being extra grateful for that first aid kit. I even managed to fix up the car before a feral comes for me, but it turns out he was only interested in my spiky rear end. What a pervert. The next heart is only one warehouse over, so I probably didn't need to waste the fuel. But hey, whatever, it is what it is. Unfortunately, before I can complete the first phase, a feral tackles me, so I drop back, ready to take it out, then a second takes me from the side. I manage to beat it off, but things are now starting to look dicey, especially as ferals don't hunt in packs of two. Like an extremist incel, they're either massive loners or hunt in packs, literally no in between. Their pursuit of me takes me away from the plague art as I struggle to find an opening to start taking them out. And as I start to put objects between me and them, I notice an enclave in the container fort. So I burst through their doors in the hopes of using them as a distraction so I can finish them off as the ferals feast upon the strangers. But instead, I once again get infected. As I limp away clutching at my gut, I walk past an enclave member. That hoodie, could it be? But there's currently no time for thought, I've still got crackheads on my tail. I climb onto a container and take out the one chasing me. But that legend of a man takes out the other two single-handedly. But who the bloody hell is this badass? Well, this is Gaz, the last remaining member of the Lizard Gang cult. He tells Wick all about the conquests he made as the leader, clearing Cascade Hills and making the town safe after a crazy member annihilated enclave after enclave. But sadly, the blood plague came back with a vengeance, and not being able to contain it, those that survived the initial days disbanded and headed their own ways. But not Gaz. Gaz wanted to take back Cascade Hills as he once did, and build a sanctuary so hopefully the cult could reform. However, after a nasty interaction with a juggernaut, he decided for his own safety it wasn't worth the risk. So instead, he's been living here alone in the container fort, waiting for that sweet relief of death. Wick asks about his brother and Gaz says he knew him, but he was never in Cascade Hills, but promises to tell him everything he needs to know as long as he helps take down the remaining play carts in Cascade Hills. Reluctantly, Wick agrees and takes off, with only 6 play carts remaining, starting with the last heart he was assaulted. But without 3 crackheads threatening his survival, this heart goes down with no problems, ignoring the problems I create for myself, of course. I can then collect my car and take off, and you can probably guess my destination. Sail Tower, baby! 5 play carts left, and 4 of which are all in walking distance. So let's get to work. I start with this warehouse, the heart in the furthest northerly part of town. I can quickly face it with the shovel, then drop a frag to help with the crowd control. I then deal with a feral and complete the second phase, before leading the hordes outside as I wait for the gases to dissipate. I can then head back in and one more swing gets the job done. Onto the next heart in a warehouse slightly south, and as there's no zombies around, I can complete the first phase with no problems. But instead of waiting around with my dick in my hand, I head towards the other heart across the street to complete that phase, and the hope it spreads out the hordes and reduce the risk of any calamities. This works out great as I once again complete the phase completely uncontested, and then I can head back to the other heart, and even though there are zombies about, there are nowhere near enough of them to cause any issues. Just one more heavy swing and that completes the second phase, and I can head back across the street, although it does seem like a horde has gathered. But there's fuck all it can do as I complete another phase with a single hit. I can then barrel roll my way back across the street, where one more heavy swing can end the play cart. I get plenty of time to grab the ammo, bombs and energy drinks before, you guessed it, crossing the street again. And this one takes just the 2 swings. I'm glad to get more energy drinks and pipe bombs, and then I go on a little jog to finish off the penultimate heart. Although on the way I do have to do my bit for culling the local crackhead population. This heart is in the bathroom and you can probably figure out the strategy by now. Phase it and run, kill any freaks that come after me, then the second phase, although admittedly completely uncontested, and I still managed to find a way of taking partial infection. But after a quick jog outside to get get the Zeds out of the building. One more swing gets the win. With that, I abandon my old fuel outpost and instead claim the army and navy outfitters nearby. This allows me to drop off the loot I've been collecting, but most importantly top up my plague cure supply. Then once the car has been refueled, it's back on the road to find the final plague cart of Cascade Hills. I find it along the road just north of town, and it's another heart in a bathroom. And it's not too long until I get overwhelmed, so I'm forced to drop a fuel bomb and set everything on fire, including myself. But with them all burnt out, I can then finish off the first phase, before fucking up a feral who's decided to trespass, then completing the second phase with one more swing. I then have to fight another feral, but this time it's at least outside. Then just 2 more swings of my shovel later, and the plague cart falls. And with that, all the hearts are destroyed in Cascade Hills. But before we can head back to speak to Gaz, we get sucked into the reformation of capitalism. More and more people are starting to move back to town, and thus we need to establish some kind of trade network in order for everyone to thrive. But as is so often the case, someone gets greedy thinking they can overthrow us all. Well, unfortunately, Trish, I haven't come this far for 3 greedy shits to take it all away from me. Enjoy these burst rounds, you twats. But after that, I can head to speak to Gaz, and he thanks Wick for helping out and saving the town, then agrees to tell him exactly where his brother is, but warns him he might not want to know the truth, as his next stop must be Trumbull Valley, defeat the Blood Plague for the 5th time, and finally reunite with his lost brother. But before we can leave Cascade for good, we have some shit to finish. It's time to re-establish capitalism, baby, after meeting up with our fellow trade members at a neutral position. But unfortunately, before we can negotiate terms for trade, we get ambushed by the rest of the greedy bastards. But let's be honest, 3 knobheads don't stand a chance against a man that's defeated the Blood Plague 4 times and performed a partial genocide in Drucker County. The final member reanimates in front of me, just so I can kill the prick a 2nd time, but all of that noise has triggered a siege at our location. Although if I'm being honest with you, it was a very underwhelming siege to say the least. Only a solitary feral provided any potential problems. But with the undead defeated, these guys can get back to buying and selling shit, and Wick can then travel to his final destination, Trumbull Valley. But he makes sure to look out at the gorgeous Cascade Hills for one final time. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and while you're there, get your final guesses into the comment section on who you think Wick's brother is. I'll be streaming the finale this Sunday, and I hope to see you there. Goodbye.